In this episode, we are going back to the 90s to take a look at some of the raddest rides in action figure toys. So, stick around. Hello, fellow dorks and dorkettes, and welcome to Nostalgia Syndrome. My name is Rob, and in this episode, we will be taking a look at some of the raddest rides in 90s toys. Now, these are primarily action figure vehicles. There's plenty of other cool vehicles out there from the 80s and 90s, but I like to look at the ones that were specifically made for action figures. So the reason I chose this to be part of Anniversary April is simply because I haven't done a Raddest Rides of the 90s since November. And yeah, just wanted something a little fresh, a little hip, a little 90s. So that's it. Nothing deeper than that. So without further ado, let's get to number one. Our first rad ride of the 90s comes from the year 1996 and was released by Mattel. This was from the cartoon series Captain Simeon and the Space Monkeys, which, I have to honestly say, I kind of dug that cartoon. But anyway, this is the Sci-Fighter. Now the Sci-Fighter had on its wings two things where it could grapple the good monkeys, because this was actually an enemy ship. The front, which kind of looked like an animal's mandible, its jaws, could also grab something. Off to the side, it had two launching missiles, and a cockpit made just for the evil Reese's 2, which was one of the villains of the show. Now, there's not a lot to say about this. I mean, it's a pretty simple, yet cool-looking vehicle. I mean, the figures were probably 5 inches or so, so this might be a little bit too big for your 3 3/4 inch figures, but I think the cockpit would probably do well with one of those figures. So you might have to play around with that if that's something you wanted to add to your collection. Our next vehicle was released by Tyco in the year 1993 and was made for a cartoon series that was based on a video game that also spawned a movie. Yeah, I'm going so far off camera with how this jumps around. So, anyway, without further ado, it is the Double Dragon Cycle. Very simple name for a pretty cool looking motorcycle. Now, the only real play feature that this had was a missile launcher that would pop up out of the front. And I think this is super cool, it actually accommodated storage for 2 extra missiles on the side. So anything that takes into account losable objects and how you can incorporate them into the item, I'm a super fan of. Now, this would fit perfectly with your G.I. Joes. When I saw this, I instantly thought of the Dreadnoks riding this around. I mean, it's pretty cheap too on the secondary market, so you could probably get a couple of them and outfit all of your 3 3/4 Dreadnok figures. Now, the one detail that I really like about this is at the forks of the motorcycle, it is a dragon's head. You know, it has sharp, pointy teeth, which I think is super cool. And yeah, this can accommodate 2 figures, probably the Double Dragons themselves, but enough of me talking about it. Here's the original commercial from 1993 to explain it a little bit better than me.
Double Dragon, twin brothers with a secret identity and legendary power. Billy and Jimmy Lee, united against the evil crime boss, Shadow Master. The twins race on their cycle to stop him.
Metro City will be mine.
Take the plunge, Shadow Master.
The power of the dragon. The secret of twin masters. Double Dragon. Figures and Double Dragon cycle sold separately.
Now, our next vehicle is also a motorcycle. It has a name that would conjure up images of something very grandiose. But in reality, this isn't a very grand vehicle at all. This is from the Godzilla movie toy line released by Trendmasters in 1994. And the name of the vehicle is the Rapid Attack Battle Bike. Yeah, sounds pretty cool, right? Until you see what it looks like. I mean, it's just your normal motocross motorcycle with a gun strapped to the front. Can't go wrong with that. Again, this is something that could probably work for your Dreadnought figures. And on the back of it, it had a missile-firing missile launcher. And the funny thing is, in all the secondary listings that I have found for this, they have the missile launcher itself, but not the connecting arm. Now, again, it's very simplistic, but I could see a lot of uses for it for your Playtime universe. So I don't think it's a total bummer, but what is this person going to actually do to Godzilla? Now, I think in the movie they rode around in the babies and all that junk. I can't remember that movie that great, which is a good thing. But, yeah, I mean, how are you going to fight a huge kaiju with this little itty-bitty motorcycle? But anyway, let's get to the next one. Our next rad ride also comes from Tyco in the year 1993, and this was for the Crash Test Dummies toy line. This is the Bot Hauler, which was part of the bad guys of that universe, the Junk Bots. So this motorcycle, yeah, it had break-apart features like most of the vehicles in that toy line and the figures themselves. And it also included a Junk Bot parts hauler on the sides. So it only accommodated one figure, but you could bust up your other ones and they could ride in the kind of sidecar in pieces. That's kind of macabre, but kind of neat at the same time. Now, I don't really remember that much about the cartoon or the toy lines for the Crash Test Dummies, but I found this commercial that kind of talks about what the Junk Bots were all about. So let's take a look at that.
It's the incredible Crash Dummies! Did you see that car?
How could I miss it?
Stop the testing! Introducing Junkman, a crash dummy gone bad. With his Junk Bot gang, he's out to stop crash testing.
And make the world an unsafe place! You gotta catch us first! There's they crash! Grab them!
New Junk Bots, incredible crash dummies, and cars sold separately.
Don't you be a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
Now, our last Raddest ride of the 90s might be considered cheating. I don't think so, because I'm a fan of this Fisher-Price toy line. And it's a toy line that is still kind of going strong today, just a little bit different. Now, this is from Fisher-Price's Great Adventures toy line. And this is the Shipwrecker Sub. Now, the Shipwrecker Sub, very cool, could open up and accommodate for the two figures that it came with. It also came with this awesome looking octopus as well. Now, it also came with this awesome little, like, personal vehicle for one of the guys. It also featured missile firing action, which is always a cool bonus. But yeah, the Great Adventures toy line offered some really awesome toys. I mean, everything from pirate ships to castles to spaceships. It had it all. And even though it's very childlike and cartoony looking, I mean, you could add this to any of your Playtime Universe toys. I mean, yeah, they're a little bit smaller, but your Joes could hang out on a pirate ship. Your He-Man figures could hang out in the castle. I mean, these were very swappable with a lot of different toy lines. And like I said, I'm a big fan. Okay folks, that was a look at 5 of the raddest rides of the 90s. And like I said, I chose this for Anniversary April just because we haven't done this topic since November. So I was kind of itching to take a look at some awesome 90s vehicles. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you got something to say, please leave a comment. I love reading them and I love getting back to everyone. And if you're new around here and you enjoyed this or any of the episodes that YouTube is recommending down here, please hit subscribe. And if you hit that little bell icon, you'll be notified whenever there's a new episode. So anyway, until next time, thanks for watching. Keep being rad and stay dorky.